Grand evening. Grand evening. It's about 10 o'clock p.m. at night. Yeah, what you are seeing right now, this is that water dripping out of that air pot that's being pumped into the air pot from the sump down below, from that irrigation system that's set for 5 minutes every hour. And what is being watered in the air pot that has leca clay balls in it, that's an orchid. That's not a regular orchid. That's a vanilla orchid, aka vanilla bean orchid. A orchid that grows all of our vanilla beans. That's where vanilla beans comes from. It comes from an orchid, a tropical orchid. And what you're seeing right now is a new orchid grow tent that's going to be filled with vanilla bean orchids that are grown just like this with my design. Ain't that beautiful? I bought this orchid plant in April 9th of this year. And I thought this orchid plant was actually going to die. So I took it outside and placed, actually the orchid plant was dying. This orchid plant was dying. It was shriveled all up. It was dying and all that. So I took it outside into one of my larger aquaponic grow beds, and I placed the orchid in the grow bed outside. And I want to say in June, 1st of June, I wanted to see how it was going to grow in the leca clay balls inside the grow bed being watered by the aquaponics system. And as you see, 5 days ago, if you look at one of my videos 5 days ago, what I noticed was that the orchid was not only doing well, it was doing great. The orchid revived itself and it grew a whole new shoot. It grew a whole new shoot growing in that leca clay pebbles in the grow bed in the aquaponics system outside. So I knew that I was on to something. I knew that the orchid grew well in my aquaponics system. I knew it grew well in the leca clay balls as a substrate. I knew it grew well being watered automatically and exposed to air in my aquaponics grow bed with a bell siphon in it that fills it up and drains it all the way down. So the orchid is getting air and it's getting nutrient at the same time, because the bell siphon is raising and lowering the water. I knew I was onto something, and as usual, when I'm doing my DIY projects, I always come up with ideas, my own ideas, on how to grow food. How to grow food the way I want to grow food, organically. And this idea came in my head right here. Since I got the idea from placing the orchid outside in my large aquaponics grow bed and how well it was doing. So this is what I'm doing. This grow tent is going to be used to grow lots of my vanilla orchid in these 2-gallon pots in an air pot filled with leca clay pebbles and a small irrigation system and a small pump. Each one. So I can plant this all the way across. So I know easily that I can put 2 orchids in an air pot. This size air pot. Easily. So you can imagine how many vanilla orchids I can grow in this grow tent. You can imagine. If I place at least 8 of these pots in here, which I will probably do, and have 2 orchid plants growing in my air pots with my leca clay pebbles in them, that's 16 orchid plants, or maybe even more, in this one grow tent. And everything's powered by solar, as you can see. All these, the pump, the small irrigation, it's all powered by solar. By those USB small lithium batteries. Power these guys for days. These guys only run on like 1 to 2 watts an hour. That's it. Very low consumption, but I will be placing one of my 12 volt 100 amps DIY solar generators in here, because I'm going to be having more of these in here. So they'll be powered by that in the near future. What you're seeing here, right here, is what the orchids are going to grow up. I'll have several of these. I have probably 8 of these in here, and these will be covered. Right now, this is just the 1/2-inch PVC pole. I'm waiting to get my my covering in here, which is going to be burlap. I'll cover this with burlap so the orchid vines can climb up that. They need to climb up. They need to grow at least, from what I hear, 8 to 10 feet before they get buds and flower. 8 to 10 feet. And that's not a problem here in this grow tent. So this is one of my journeys I wanted to be on. I wanted to be able to grow my own spices. And this is one of the spices I want to grow. This is one of the most expensive spices you can grow, is a vanilla orchid bean. So, and what I've also learned is that vanilla orchids are from South America. They require a very warm temperature all year round. A warm temperature with humid conditions. So in here, I'll have a small humidifier that will keep the grow tent humid enough, give them the environment they will need to grow. Now, since the grow tent is inside, I really don't have a problem with temperature because it's inside my garage. But in the wintertime, also what I've done is I've bought small 200-watt small electrical heaters that have just come out. Real small heaters. Only run on 200 watts. That's it. Now I'll place one little small heater in here. When it gets a little cold in the garage, this will be zipped up. I'll have a lot more of my new DIY LED lights, and this is why I've gotten more. I'm upgrading my my lighting, because I'm using these lights. They don't run. This guy runs on 11 to 12 watts per hour. That's it, and this raises all the way up. So I have 6 of these in here. So I'm not using a whole lot of energy by using the new technology they have in LED lighting, and by using my DIY off-grid solar generators to power all this with no problem. For days. For days. For days. This will power this whole, this will power this system for about 10 days. Easily 10 days. No problem. So, all off grid. So as I continue this journey, I'm very happy because you can see the work is growing very well. It's watered automatically. I don't have to do anything. If you see the water down there, as notice the water is light brown. You're probably thinking, oh, he's pouring. He went and bought hydroponic chemicals and poured it in there. No, I don't. I don't use any man-made synthetic chemicals. That fertilizer is a fertilizer that I made. I made that fertilizer. It's all organic. It's all organic. And I use the same fertilizer for my plants outdoors. My dragon fruit, my other orchid fruit trees and all that. I make my own fertilizer. I do not use man-made synthetic chemicals for my plants. And I pour about a capful. All you need is a capful in there. And that gives the vanilla orchid plenty of organic nutrient. And it's watered. It's watered by the irrigation system. Every 5 minutes, the water is pumped up from the sump and pumped into that, as you saw earlier. 5 minutes, an hour, it does that, and then it automatically shuts off. So the roots of the orchid are getting water and they're getting air. So I will not have root rot. You won't have root rot in this system because the roots are watered. The water shuts off. The roots are in leach clay, which is very, very air buoyant, meaning air should blow all the way through that leach clay. So the plant gets plenty of air, plenty of water, and plenty of nutrients. And you can't get it can't get root rot, especially in the air pot. If you know what an air pot is. So that's what I'm doing. So as I continue on this journey, I continue to add more buckets, more vertical grow walls, and more orchids, of course, all through here. And I'm looking forward to these plants growing up and blooming here in the near future, as we can see. So the plant is doing well now. That's a new shoot. That's a new shoot right here. This is all a new shoot right there. That's the air pump that's going off and on. Here. What that's doing is It's keeping the water oxygenated, and it's keeping my organic fertilizer that I made mixed in the water. And I also have a K1 media in a bag in there. I have K1 media in a small bag in there for my beneficial bacteria to live in. So this plant's getting plenty of nitrate. So that's what I'm doing. This is one of my journeys, is to get both my grow tents journeys going. And this one right here will have all vanilla orchids growing in it. So this is just the first of many that will go in here. Until next time, y'all have a nice day. I'm still working on this one. I'm getting this one all done for my other plants in here that I like growing. Like over here, the only house plant you will see in my house that I love are carnivorous plants. This one was outside, but look how this baby's grown. It's grown nice, large, new pictures that they'll get bigger than this. But this variety started like this variety, real small. These are two different varieties. They're not the same plant, but they're both pitcher plants, just two different kinds. So it started off like this and it grew to this. And I love carnivorous plants. These plants eat insects, they eat bugs. The bugs fall in the pitchers, and the plants have digestive juice in the pitchers that they digest the bugs for energy, and that's how that helps them grow. They eat bugs in the pitchers. The bugs crawl in there and die. Or you can actually put a bug in there with tweezers. I've done that too. So since they're growing in here, they're not outside. So lots of food will be in here. Lots of more of these. I grow all of my my seeds. I'm growing seeds right now in here. I just put some seeds in here, waiting for them to sprout up. So now I'm going to put earthworms on this side. I'll put some earthworm beds on this side. I'll put another rack here, another rack here. So I have earthworms on this side too. I'll move some of my earthworm farms in here because they'll do better in here, I'm thinking, than being outside, because in Houston, in southern Texas, we don't get real cold, but we had these crazy cold winters for a few days, just a few days. And it'd be good to have some earthworms stacked on this side. So, in trays, all powered by solar. Everything's always powered by solar. When this solar system gets empty in about 10 days, I'll take this outside, I'll charge it back up, and I'll bring one of my other ones in here. Because I have a whole lot of solar generators. That's why I have plenty of them. I have plenty of solar power. When one goes dead, I bring another one in here. I just rotate them out. Plenty of power, all off grid. So that's one of my little journeys I'm working on in my garage. So you guys have a nice evening. Grow some food, because at the end of the day, ain't nobody coming to save us. We got to save ourselves.